At some point, your clutch in your manual transmission is going to fail. It's a significant wear item. They last anywhere from 50,000 to 100,000 miles, but at some point, your clutch is going to go. And when it does, you'll be unable to select a gear. But in most cases, the warning signs of your clutch failing have been apparent long before it actually fails. In this video, we're just going to talk about some of the typical signs that your clutch is starting to fail, and hopefully that'll give you an opportunity to get the clutch attended to before it fails and leaves you stranded at the roadside. When you press on the accelerator, the engine revs might increase, but the acceleration is much slower. You might just put that down to being down on power, but that could be the clutch slipping. It's not quite biting. It's biting a little bit, but the clutch on one side, on the engine side, is moving faster than on the roadside, and it takes a little while for the two plates to synchronize when you've reached your cruising speed. Anything really where the RPM is not related to the speed can be an indicator of the clutch starting to slip. You might also notice your fuel economy dropping. As the clutch is slipping, you're not getting all of the power through the transmission into the wheels, so you're pressing harder on the accelerator. You're using more fuel to do the same amount of work. You may notice a burning smell. The smell of a burning clutch is much like burning carpet. It's quite strong and acrid, and you'll notice it more when you're doing hill starts, when the clutch is really struggling to bite. You may also notice sticky clutch operation, it not engaging or disengaging smoothly. It may be vibrating slightly after you've just engaged it. You may notice a rumbling noise. Now, sometimes this isn't the clutch, it's the clutch release bearing, or the master cylinder may also be starting to fail, causing the clutch pedal to stick. And this is something you really should address. It can cause damage to the gearbox if it's ignored. You may notice the gear change is stiffer, particularly on the lower gears. First and second may be very hard to engage. The clutch biting point may be much higher. The pedal may not be depressed as much. If you've got a car with an automatically adjusting clutch cable, then you tend to have this situation where the clutch pedal is getting higher and higher all the time. You may notice the slipping where the engine speed doesn't match the road speed only in higher gears, or other issues in lower gears. These can all be a sign of a clutch on its way out. Is there a way to test your clutch? There is. I don't recommend you do this regularly because it does add wear and tear on the clutch itself, but it just puts stress on the clutch so you can ascertain whether it is biting and whether it is doing its job properly or not. Park up, engage the handbrake, put the car into third gear, and then release the clutch with a light throttle. Leave the handbrake on. If the car stalls, your clutch is good. If the engine keeps revving and the car doesn't stall, that would indicate that clutch is starting to slip. Now, you might have a situation where the clutch is just weak, and you can test this best on a hill, doing a hill start. The steeper the hill, the better, and the more it will show up any little weaknesses or inconsistencies in the clutch or the clutch operation. Park on a hill, engage first gear and release the clutch as normal. If the engine starts to race but the car hesitates, you've got a problem with the clutch, and you will probably notice that horrible burning smell. When your clutch has failed, it can be impossible to select gears. Now, I say that, but a good driver can still use the gearbox. You need to be very careful in your rev matching, and you can crash through the gears. Now, going from third to fourth or fourth to fifth is relatively easy. Going from second to first or first to second is much harder. It's all down to the ratios of the gearbox and the chances you've got of getting the teeth to mesh correctly. If you can get the car rolling just a little bit, then you've got a good chance of being able to select second or third gear and just gradually pick up speed, and that can often get you to a situation where you can limp home. I did that for about 500 miles, including a stint on the M25 where my clutch cable had gone yet again, and this time it had gone on the way home. It was frustrating, but it was possible to drive the car without using the clutch at all. And at first, yes, I was crunching the gears a little bit, but by the end I've become very efficient at matching the RPM and anticipating the road ahead, so the car never actually came came to a complete stop. It was the scariest, most frustrating journey of my life, and I certainly don't recommend that. If you've got clutch problems, get them sorted out. Please boot the like button if you found this video useful. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and I've lined this video and this playlist up for you that you should find really interesting. Thanks for watching. See you in these next videos.